Computer vision is a relatively a new technology, and it's hard and it takes a long time to develop and bring it to a level where you could put it in shoppers' hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one. But on the other hand, you don't want to take 5 years of development now to bring something to market. So this is also something, identifying what is the minimal version, the MVP that you really need to define, and then go for this, and only later on add more capabilities. And we always try and think that way.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. This episode is powered by J Ventures, a community-driven VC fund in Silicon Valley in partnership with Leumitech, sponsored by Homeward Ventures, Hippo Insurance, Upwest Labs, Synergy Global, Hillel at Stanford, Leap, Birthright Excel, Serona Partners, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to another episode of 20-Minute Leaders. Today, I'm going to be speaking to Razs Golan, the co-founder and CEO of Shopic. A veteran of the 8200 unit of the Israeli Intelligence Corps, Razs is a seasoned product leader with over a decade of experience in research, product management, intelligence, and R&D. Prior to his army service, Razs started a bachelor's degree in the age of 14 during high school and co-founded sikumuna.co.il, Israel's largest studying materials website. After completing the army service, Razs has joined Checkpoint as a security researcher, then joined Semantics, a startup developing NLP algorithms, founding team as a VP product. Razs Golan, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. How are you today?
Thank you, Michael. I'm good. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Thank you for having me. I love going to the supermarket. I love the experience. I hate the checkout and the whole cart thing. It's always such a hassle, but walking around and the actual experience is great. And I want to retain that experience in the next few years. And I don't want to shop for groceries online. And so hopefully you'll help me do that with Shopic. Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you end up working on the next generation of the shopping cart.
Well, it's quite an interesting story. Originally, I don't come from the retail industry at all. And I, by the way, really hate going to the supermarket the way it is today. And we're trying to solve that. But originally, I come from the cybersecurity space. This is where I met my co-founder, Eran Kravitz. And a few years after the army, we reconnected and wanted to start a business together. This was our dream for many, many years. But we wanted to be creative and not do it in the cyberspace where all our friends went to. We did some systematical process of going through different markets and exploring different problems that we think that are worth solving. And we ended up looking at the retail space, the physical retail space, and we said, wow, we stopped immediately. And we really wondered how it hadn't changed dramatically in about 100 years, more or less, with some few upgrades in the middle. And we really wanted to change things there. We thought that technology is here and the retailers are ready. Shoppers are obviously ready for better technologies and better shopping journeys in those physical stores. And we took this challenge.
So, you have to go pretty much the entire spectrum in order to go from cyber and internet cyber all the way to retail experience. And so obviously you've had quite an interesting journey on the ideation phase. So tell me a little bit about the systematic approach that you went through and sort of what were the questions that led you towards, figuring out that, the retail space has enough capacity for innovation in the grand impact that you want to bring to it.
Yeah. So, we looked first on from the problem perspective. Where do we see really, really big problems that cause a big loss or that customers are willing to pay a lot of money to solve them? Then once we map these problems that we personally feel a connection to, we started mapping the market, seeing who are the big players. Are there any existing solutions trying to solve the same problem? Or is it a new market that we are trying to create? And then going down into more and more details, then obviously we got out of the building and started talking to relevant players, potential customers, companies that tried and looked at the market, investors who were friends. And, after doing all these conversations and drilling down, we started to get a pretty good image if in certain markets, for example, the technology was the barrier, or in certain markets, the business wasn't, or the opportunity wasn't big enough. And this is how we narrowed down, then got to physical retail where all the parameters were right. The market is huge, the technology is mature, the customers are willing to pay a lot of money to change what they have today. And recently, by the way, throughout this journey, some really interesting things happen, like Amazon going from online to offline with a lot of force, opening stores, both small and medium, and showing us what amazing technology and a lot of fast development can do. So it's only increased the level of interest and the movement of the market.
I actually did a class at Stanford on product management with Target, that we were working with the Target, the company, looking at innovation and retail. And it
Yep.
was fascinating to work with some of the executive team. They were thinking through and then understanding, what the efforts that Walmart is undertaking to really rethink the shopper's experience in retail. And obviously this is all in the backlight of Amazon purchasing Whole Foods, and you can only imagine what's happening to the world. If you had to distill the pain that you're observing and that you're really focusing on in just a few sentences, what did you and Iran really set out to do with Shopic?
Initially, we wanted to solve the problem of checkout lines, but
Mm-hmm.
today we look at the entire shopping experience as the thing we want to improve, and basically merging the online experience in offline stores with the offline experience. So creating this new hybrid experience is what we are creating, and it solves actually many, many problems. So it solves the problem of queues at checkout. It avoids customers abandoning their carts and walking out the store. It helps retailers get customers who wouldn't have come to the store in the first place because they know how bad the experience is. It increases the basket size of those customers. The benefits are just huge.
So tell me, the new way that consumers are interacting with their shopping routine now that they're using a supermarket that has Shopic integrated with them. How does the consumer journey look from the
Yeah.
consumer side?
Yeah, so the experience is really what it's called frictionless shopping. So you would enter the store, and then you get our device. You mount it on your shopping cart, simple click, and then using cameras and really powerful processors that we have on the device, we use computer vision to automatically detect everything that's going in or out of the cart. You bag items as you shop. We interact with you with offers and coupons, and you see the full basket as you shop with full transparency. It can goes all the way to personalized offers based on your shopping history, and contextualized offers based on your location in store and what shelf you stand next to. Um, it's really endless, and just like we would get in an online website. Then, when you're ready to pay and leave the store, you pay on the device with either credit card or digital wallet, return it before you leave the store, and exit. All of your items are bagged in the cart. Use the same card to exit, and that's it. That easy.
If you had to pinpoint some of the aha moments that a customer like myself, that I would go into for the first time using Shopic, what are some of those specific moments in the store, in the
Yeah.
supermarket, that I would just stand there and say, like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah, yeah. So I can tell you that the moments we liked the most in our live deployments, when we saw real shoppers interacting with the system, the most distinctive one is when they enter the first item to the cart and it's automatically recognized. Usually, it's the reaction is, "Wow, it looks like magic. How is this working?" Um, because most customers are used to scan barcodes, and we are not reading the barcodes. We look at the item itself. So they are absolutely amazed by it, and it happens every time. And then I would say the second moment is a checkout when they see that they can pay with a click, 2 seconds, and leave the store. It just feels almost too easy at the beginning.
Right. And so if you're looking now at where you are in the journey, and there's a long road from developing the technology all the way to, educating a market and shifting consumer behavior. Maybe can you help me pinpoint some of those key challenges that you foresee on the journey that is a long one?
Yeah. I think that when you begin with a problem, it's really broad, and then you have to focus on how you're solving it, what differentiates you from others, and how fast can you move and get it to market. And I think that at Shopic, and this is what really differentiates us, we have built a whole method and approach that is very operationally driven. We started the company more than 6 years ago. We are very familiar with the retail market. And I think one of the best examples is that we have learned how operational a retail store is. Their margins are extremely thin, about 1.5 or 2% at net margin, and everything is very, very well optimized. So we understood that our approach has to be around the store. We have to build our solution around the store and not vice versa. And basically everything else followed. So understanding this core foundation really helped us to build an entire platform around it, and get it to market and really explain why we think we do it unlike any other company in the sector.
How critical here do you think is the first to market or the go to market approach in terms of timeliness versus the intellectual property of the knowledge and the models that you're training here? Which one do you think has a bigger impact on whether Shopic will succeed or not?
I think it's a combination because computer vision is a relatively a new technology, and it's hard and it takes a long time to develop and bring it to a level where you can put it in shoppers' hands.
Hmm.
And so this is one. But on the other hand, you don't want to take 5 years of development now to bring something to market. So this is also something, identifying what is the minimal version, the MVP that you really need to define, and then go for this, and only later on add more capabilities. And we always try and think that way.
Is there some race when you look at the different players in the world that are looking at the shopping experience as to who will create the consumer behavior that will end up sticking? And or in other words, is there a reason to believe that there is going to be one market leader that is going to transform the shopping experience, or could there be a fragmentation where some of the market is using some technology and consumer behavior, and another fragmented market is looking at another use case?
Yeah. So definitely segmentation. There's no one solution that fits all. There are solutions that are much better for small type of stores, like convenience stores, with a very different type of shopping journey. You go there for one or two items at night, really quick in and out. And there are other solutions that are made for larger stores where you spend 45 minutes to an hour, and sometimes we would even see different solutions in the same store.
Right.
So, yeah,
So, and how old is Shopic now?
a little over 6 years.
A little over 6 years, and so we're in March of 2020,
Yeah.
and I remember vividly that Stanford shuts down, and I'm exiled from campus, and my favorite stores, Costco, Target, Walmart, I'm not even able to enter them, let alone the food aisles of any of these stores. Where are you? Like, what do you do? Where do you go from there?
So yeah, that was a special moment for us. First, a lot of uncertainty, what's going on in the world, but uh, in parallel to that, we've just completed our Series A. We were thinking about how to expand quickly, and then we started getting calls from our customers saying how we can expedite our project's timeline because we want to get your solution to market quicker because we cannot handle the amount of customers getting to the store. So we must have our experience more efficient. This is one,
I
and
remember that time.
the checkout
No more
lines.
toilet paper. Yep.
No more, yeah, yeah, and also the distance between shoppers and the interactions. They wanted to be as independent as possible. So we tried to help them.
And so that actually, you actually had increased demand at that time because of the ripple effect of what was happening due to the beginning of COVID, right?
Yeah, yeah. Luckily, the entire supermarket industry had a good impact from COVID. So yeah, luckily we growed the company and not vice versa.
How do you compare, on a personal level, your experience working in retail to your prior experience in the cyberspace? I'm coming from the cyberspace as well, and so I can imagine how different of an experience it is, running a team that is looking at retail and this physical device, hardware and software, with a lot of, behavioral economics and psychology in mind, versus looking at the cyberspace, which has a
Yeah,
bit of a different intellectual set.
yeah, yeah. Um, well, here it's everything. Everything surrounds the shopper and the store. They are the two most important factors in what we do. So for the shopper, we want to deliver the best shopping experience, and the store, we want to provide the most minimal interaction with the system and smoothness in deployment and maintenance. So I would say it's very user centric versus very technologically oriented with cyber.
Mm.
Your users in cyber are very different, but it's not
Yep.
a consumer product that you're building. You're building technology for defense or attack or whatever. But yeah, the core is very different.
So which core are you more attached to on a personal level? Are you more attached to, the technological core of really understanding the technology, whether it be computer vision or vulnerabilities in cyber, or is it more about the consumer behavior and this complicated supply chain and the go-to-market strategies? Where are you in, between these two worlds?
So it changed. I'm a technologist at heart and in my background. So the technology has fascinated me and it will always fascinate me, especially this cutting edge new things that we are building. But on the other hand, building a business and selling to retailers is also fascinating, and understanding their business, how they operate, and what they look at when evaluating our sort of solution is also area of interest for me.
I can only imagine the satisfaction one may get, entering a supermarket and just looking at the shopping carts and saying, "I created this, and this person is having this aha moment because of something that I created." Right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And in general, building something that you can use at the supermarket is very nice and easy to relate to. So also, when you talk to friends about Shopic versus talking about a cyber project, it's much easier.
It's much more fun to talk about it over a glass of beer. I can completely see that happening.
Yeah.
If you go back a little bit, you know, pre-army, pre-cyber, definitely pre-Shopic, who I want to get to know who Raz is, on a deeper level, and what really fascinated you as a kid. Where did your curiosity lie? What really triggered your mind as you were approaching the world, even let's say 10 years old?
Um, I think I really liked science. So, all sorts of experiments and mainly physics and chemistry, um, but also coding and technology like computers. And so it was all about experimenting in new things and learning new technologies from a very young age. Um, Also during high school, lots of personal projects with friends. Most of my friends had the same, areas of interest, so we liked working together. We even founded a website to share study materials between us that grew and became very popular. So it was all about solving our problems, and hopefully
Yep.
helping others and enjoying the process.
I love it. And if you had to think of, a few words that if I were to ask Iran or any of the supermarkets you're working with, how would they describe Raz in a few words, what kind of words come to mind?
Yeah, this is a good question.
It's the easiest one, of course.
I would say first precision.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to look at the big picture, but sometimes I also really like the details, just a part of my nature.
Yep.
Passion, I think, would be the second. Um, and thirdly, optimistic, as we have to be as entrepreneurs all the time.
I love it. Raz, I want to say that I'm very inspired by these types of companies that are leveraging deep technology for shifting consumer behavior. If I think of the company that I will want to start one day, this Shopic has a lot of the elements that I would be looking for as an entrepreneur, and I can very much relate your own passion and excitement for taking, your technological background, but then creating a really positive impact on a real problem in a world that is constantly changing, that sort of has endless potential. And while I think that a lot of people may intuitively assume that just everything is shifting online, we have to remember that there are a lot of these human experiences that we will continue to have for many, many, many years. And just because they're in the physical world doesn't mean that they don't have technological innovation there as well. And so thank you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. And best of luck with Shopic. And I can't wait to experience it myself at the supermarket.
Thank you very much. You're most welcome, and we can definitely schedule a tour.
I'd love that. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.